Hey everybody, it's Michelle LaVore and
Devin LaVore coming at you.
And we're so glad that you're here, and we pray that you guys are blessed by what the Lord has to share. Today we are going to be going over Acts 2 scene 49.
We should have figured this out before we started the video.
I know.
Huh?
I was like, wait a minute. No, it's scene 49.
I'm pretty sure it's scene 49.
It is.
Right? Yeah.
Of the restoration play.
I was right there with you. I was like, oh yeah, what scene is this? Are we doing 48? Or did we do 48?
We're on 40 now. But anyway, we're going to be covering this last week, and there's just a lot to cover with what the Lord has just brought us through. It's been really good. So also we want to just give a huge thank you to everyone who supported us, gave to us this week. It was just amazing to once again see how God just continues to provide. And so thank you to all of you. It was just really awesome.
Thank you, Lord. Every time we have to do one of those appeal videos, it always leaves a bitter taste in my gut. But it's like I have to. You know what I mean? It's like you have not because you ask not. And so I have to do those videos. And it's always a blessing to see the support that is totally like the reality of the support. It goes against everything going on in my head. It's like a battle. And I'm like, ask whatever. So...
So again, huge thank you to all of you. And we are support-based, so if you would like to give to us, you can. We have a PayPal link and a Cash App link below, and you can click either of those. So we'll just kind of dive into this week. It's been really awesome. Well, it's like we'll do the... When we were
previously on
with the LaVores. So God has had us kind of in this place where he's using the pictures of a play to kind of help us understand where we're at with him and the journey that we're on with him. And so there came a point where the Lord said, hey, the curtains are closed. And then we had the stages set. And then our last week was really talking about just like the Are You Ready, which had to do with all these little reminders. You know, you're getting ready. It's before the curtains open, but it's like, hey, remember this, remember that, you know, as you're getting ready, as you're going. And this week has really been about being set in place. And
it's like, all right, you got all your pre-show reminders. Okay, all right, go, get in place. That's literally our whole week. It's like, all right, go, get in place. And it's like, how can you have a whole week based on that? Keep watching.
And so it's really awesome because I think we shared the vision a couple of weeks ago on one of our videos about this curtain vision that the Lord had given to Devin. And we want to recap it? Yes.
Okay, so I had this vision. And basically our family was on stage. We weren't in the audience watching it. We were on stage. And there was a curtain in front of us. Like I came up onto the stage by myself, and I was just there. I knew I was supposed to be in this position, and I was there. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Why am I up here? What's going on? Where's Michelle? And then as I'm thinking that, she literally comes up right next to me, but it's just like she's like fixing something off to the side of her costume or something. And then she's like, okay. She just ran up. I was like, what happened? You know, you have it was a wardrobe malfunction we found. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. And so she got something fixed. And then it was like, okay, good, I'm good. And then I was like, well, wait a minute, where are the kids? You know what I mean? And then here comes my daughter and my third born, and then my firstborn's all the way back. He's coming, but he's just kind of sauntering forward, you know, like kind of mopey meh. And I'm like, what's going on? You know, but we all eventually get up there, and we're all ready, we're in position, and we're just standing there, and we're waiting for this curtain to open. And then the curtain opens, and on the other side of that curtain is the home we've been like waiting for and dreaming for. We had no idea what was in the vision. I had no idea. None of us had any idea what was on the other side of that curtain. It was just like, come on, let's line up for a surprise type of thing. And then the curtain opened, and then on the other side was the home we've been believing for 5 years. This has been amazing. Or 4 years.
Yeah.
4 years.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
Yeah, almost. Yeah,
and
almost 5.
But you got that vision when?
I have no idea.
I think it was a long time ago.
It was a while. I mean, it was a while ago.
It might have been.
I think it was in 2018.
18.
2018, because I think we were here when I got it, and I was like, "Whoa, that's crazy!" And so earlier on in the week, I felt like the Lord, because I was thinking, especially after the last video, we're like, "Ooh, what's happening?" Next week. And, there's an excitement that always builds up in your heart when you come to these end points. And there's this cliffhanger in the story. And now you got to wait for the next episode to come out every Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or whatever. And then it comes and you're like, what happened? What happened? And then really cool stuff happens. And some questions get answered, but some questions still linger on. And that's how you write a TV show, really. You got to keep them, guessing, keep them coming after the show. If you answer all the questions, they may not come.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we got all the questions done. We're done with that show. That's like show writer's death right there. You know what I mean? And so what was I talking about? What was I saying?
I think,
I don't remember. My brain just went like, floop.
You went on to show writing. So.
Yeah, I did. Okay. So then when we got to the end of the, pre-show reminders, we were expecting something. We were expecting the curtain to open. And I was just like, but I wasn't sure. We were hoping, we were wanting to see it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know that we were necessarily expecting it.
Yeah.
But we were just like, oh, can it be? Can it be? And then you find out pretty quickly. It's like, okay, maybe not. Yeah. All right. Trusting God's timing and all that. And even if there's disappointment or heartbreak or like, oh man, I was kind of hoping this, not letting yourself get sucked into the black hole of your soul. All of that, it can be part of the process, actually. And so we were kind of hoping, but it's like the Lord said, so toward the beginning of this particular scene, the Lord's like, you're going through that process of that vision right now. Yeah. And I was like, I better be hearing from the Lord, because I don't want to hear something and then have it just not pan out. If you know the Lord, one thing you want to do is know that what you're hearing from Him is from Him. But that's what He said to me at the beginning of the week. He was like, you're going through the process of that now. And then when He said the process of that, I was like, oh, so this is going to take some time. We need to just chill and just let Him be the director of the play,
Yeah. Yeah, and so, and in the vision, like, we were all dressed, like, in...
Super nice.
Super nice.
Yeah.
And so...
Better than any clothes we own right now. I'll tell you that right.
But it was really awesome because it was Sunday, this last week, Sunday night, it would have been the 13th of March, and it was actually technically into Monday morning, but it was late at night. We were praying.
It was after midnight.
Yeah, it was after midnight.
Late in the midnight hour.
And we were just up praying, and there was just this flow from the Spirit of God, and I was just praying over Devin. And at the time, we were praying over like our whole family, just for healing and just for different things. And then it was just like God's just like, all right, start praying. And as I was praying, I was just seeing this. I was just seeing a picture of Devin with just a crown on his head and like this white robe. And it was just like God was just giving me things to pray over him.
Like a lot.
A ton.
I mean, it was like, it went on for like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And if y'all know her praying, she be praying.
Yeah.
You know?
And so it was just like, whoa, this was just really cool. Like, all right, Lord, I don't know what we're going to do from here. But the next day, it was just like, or technically it was that day, Monday. So Monday, I think I was doing the journaling and going through the notes, and I just was like, I need to draw this picture. I need to just put it on paper so Devin can see this. And God has used, for me personally, he'll give me different little artsy projects to do. And whether it's just drawing something or creating, there are, different kinds of things. Like back in June of 2021, we were it's our whole tour of the garden time, and we literally we took time and made a picture of just like the earth, the moon, the stars, and everything, but then it made like a label with everything that God was declaring over each of those different things. And so God does that with me. So it wasn't like I've never done this before, but it was just like, man, I really feel like this needs to be put on the wall. And so I just drew a little picture of Devin. Didn't totally resemble him, but it's just a representation.
Yeah.
And
That's funny.
and then I just went through and I just wrote out all the different things that I had prayed over him and what God had spoken, and I put it up on our wall. And
the writing's on the wall.
And so it was just like, all right, okay, this is cool. We have him, and I'm like, look, it's like your little person up on the wall. And so then we kind of just continued on, and it was something actually even then that I was like, I wonder if I'm gonna get prayed over. Is Devin gonna get something for me? And like, he'll pray over me. That would just be so cool. I love it when the Lord does those kinds of things.
You do. It's like your favorite thing.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
I'm like, Lord, I just hear from you. Pray over us and speak. And but there was really nothing like and then there just
not yet.
No. It was a couple days later. I think it was on the 16th. So it would have been Wednesday. And I was just kind of in a place where I felt like I had seen, because it was I was asking the Lord, like, okay, Lord, well, what do you have for me? Okay, clearly at this point I'm thinking, obviously I don't think this stuff is going to come through prayer. Maybe I'll just need to ask you. And so I started asking him just about, like, what do you have for me? And I took a little post-it, and I had seen this, like, a crown, and
that's right, you put it on the post-it first.
I put it on like this little post-it. I just started drawing on this post-it and just like what I had felt like God was speaking over me, and so like I ended up actually sharing it that night with at God time, and we just kind of talked about like, oh, like this is what the Lord was showing me. And so it was a really different experience for me, because it was really God just kind of, a lot of it was reminding me of things that he's already spoken to me, but then just having me go through this process. And I was like, okay, that was different. I was kind of hoping for the pray over you and somebody else gets all this stuff, but God was like, no, I'm just gonna give you the revelation for yourself. And
where now is the Lord God of Elijah? I want something amazing, I guess. Right?
But then it was really cool, because then that night I literally drew my picture of myself that night. I spent, after all the kids went to bed, that's just what I ended up doing. I just spent all this time just drawing this picture, labeling it just like Devin, and then I put mine right next to him. And it was just like, I think at that point,
super cool.
At that point, it was really like, whoa, okay, well, if you have a picture and I have a picture, I'm pretty sure the Lord's going to have pictures for all of our kids. And I think it was really, at least for me at that point, I was like, whoa, I think this might really be something as far as even just that vision. And I can't remember when the Lord had told you that it was like, yes, we are going through this, if it was by then or
well, it was that I think it was that night. When did they do theirs? On the 17th? Okay, so then it was like that night you were saying, hey, maybe there's something we can do tomorrow, and for you guys, and because yours was the 16th, right? And we talked about it that night, right? And I think you had been burned by ooh, I have this idea.
Yes.
Let's go do this idea. This could be great. And you're like, well, wait a minute. That might not be the Lord. I don't want to go through that again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And be crushed. And so I was like, well, but if it's the Lord, it's the Lord, you know?
Yeah.
And so I really just kind of felt like later that night, like, I think we should do that tomorrow morning for God time. Like, you know, just, you know, that religious trigger in you goes, well, you can't do that for God time. That's art projects and that's fun. You don't do that for God time, okay? You know? And I was like, no.
Yeah.
And then when I woke up the next morning, I just knew, like, this is what we're supposed to do. This is going to be our God time. It's going to be a God time art project.
Yeah. So basically, that next morning, which I think that would have been the Thursday, we basically just went through with each of the kids, like helping them. A lot of it was just some of the things that God has already spoken over them. But then I really felt like for me, I knew that we wanted them to be able to draw their people themselves. But it was like I had this like rough draft. And like I was like, here, this is, you know, because God was just giving me some things for them and giving me the picture of what they were wearing, because all of us were wearing different things. And so it was just like, you know, I just went through each of them individually. But it was really cool because they then finished off their people, and then I went through and later on that day I ended up labeling it all. And for all of our pictures, I really felt like the background was to be this, like, you know, just like a rainbow colored background. Mm-hmm. And so once
Sign of the covenant.
Yeah, and that's just been with us for a very, very long time. Yeah. And so once I finished labeling everything, I was like, okay, you can color in the background. And so that's where it was really interesting, because in the vision, it was you, me, and then it was our daughter, followed by our third, and then our firstborn. Yeah. And actually, in our fourth, he was not in the vision at the time, and actually that's pretty common for us, as far as just in this point of our journey, because he's so young on this journey. A lot of times the Lord, he's not necessarily in every vision that we have. And but he did his own person, and it was really awesome. Yeah. But
his own person was in a house.
Yes.
The sign of the promise.
Yeah. He drew himself in a house. So
God is in every
amazing.
detail.
So but it was a little different for him, because it was just he did his own thing as far as what
we know where he's at.
Yeah.
We're just like,
and so so I had them, I was like, here you go, here's, you know, you can color in the rainbow. Sounds like a Skittles commercial. Yeah.
Or a Sesame Street song.
But it was just so interesting, because in that process, it ended up being like our daughter finished, and so I was like, okay, go put yours up on the wall, and we relocated them. If you don't, it's over there. That's why I keep kind of actually looking over there. But they're all on the wall, and so I was like, okay, you go put yours up, and literally, like, she gets done, and then our third born comes in, and he's just like, oh, I'm done too, and so I put his up literally like right after hers, which was pretty much just like the vision. Yeah. And then
well, and it was funny, because in that moment, I know this might seem trivial, but in that moment, she was like, oh, okay, Elia, well, make sure you do this and this, you know. She said some little thing, some little tidy instructional thing, right? Mm-hmm. But he was already in the vision, he was already standing there, but she was just like touching him up a little bit, and then that was it. And I was like, wow, she literally just did that. Yeah. I was like, that's crazy. Yeah. I'm like, okay, I'm hiding this stuff in my heart, you know. Yeah.
And then our oldest, he took the longest as far as just getting the project done and everything, for various reasons. And but then we got his up as well. And
well, because he was having some emotional difficulty.
Yeah. He really
just like he was in the vision. Mm-hmm. He was having some major emotional difficulty with faith and hope and believing for promises and getting just struggling hardcore with the constant waiting. And so that's kind of where he's been for a while.
Yeah.
You know? So,
and so it was just
but he did finish.
He did.
He did participate.
Like,
so that's a big win.
Yes.
You know?
And so, but it was just so crazy to just see how, like, God put all these pictures up. And so,
it was so awesome.
Yeah, it was just really cool. And it was really a very encouraging week as far as just God speaking and saying, like, this is who you are. And he really spoke a lot to, look, this is who I've made you to be. This is who you're going to grow into, which that's one thing. I don't know that we'll cover it too much, but just really feeling like there is a transition taking place as far as what God is doing even in our own lives, as far as, you know, we've been in years of exposure where God is just like, I am getting everything out, and I'm going to continue to get everything out up to the last minute of this part of the journey. But on the other side, God is saying, like, you're going to be transitioning into a time of a lot of growth, and it's kind of like he was showing us, like, right now it's been I'm giving you the victory over issues. So it's like, well, if you deal with doubt, he's like, well, I'm exposing the fact that you have doubt in your heart. And let's deal with that.
So let's deal with that over the next 5 years.
Yeah, because I want you to have the victory over it.
Yeah.
And so then when you have the victory over it, you have faith. Well, now that you have faith, I want you to grow in your faith. And that's really where I feel like God is saying, I am now taking you into a process of growth, and where instead of needing the exposure, you've gotten the exposure, you have the victory. Now we're going to grow in that victory.
Growing in grace.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to grow in. We're going to grow in favor. That's what we're going to live. We're going to live in favor.
And so, and I was also reminded of just the seeds in the ground. And it talks about, like, a seed must die, and then it you know, and then it can grow and come to life. The plant can grow. And just this idea of, like, wow, that's really what God's been doing this whole time. He's like, I've planted a ton of seeds in your heart. And
the whole time, like our
whole priestly time. So from 2017 all the way through now.
Not just this scene.
Yes. I'm covering years worth of stuff here. Yeah. So as far as the exposure, it's been this whole time we've been here in Nashville, really since the 2018 through now. But then it's like, I feel like God's just saying, like, hey, I'm getting ready to transition. All of these seeds are ready to grow. They're ready to bloom. They're, you know, and you've been in the season of dying to yourself and all of that. Now we're moving on into you've died to yourself, continue to have the humility, and then we're going to see growth.
Well, and can I? And was it in March that I got that reversing word? March? Or was that May?
May.
In May of 2017, the Lord gave me a word. It's time for everything to be reversed. And it really it's really the prophetic word that really launched our channel out of, like, single-digit views. And I had been doing it for 9 months on my own. Just, like, plowing away. And the Lord told me to not quit. And I was just plowing away at the channel, and he gave me a prophetic word about the time for everything to be reversed. And so we entered into a reversing process that has gone on for years. And I feel like the Lord's, like, saying, like, listen, I showed you the end at the very beginning.
Yeah.
I spoke to you things about what was going to happen at the end at the very beginning. Even, what was it, John 14:29 or something like that, where he's like, I'm telling you all of this now so that when it happens, you will believe. And so I feel like we've seen the beginning, or we've seen the end at the beginning, and I feel we're at the end you know. And I know I felt that many times, right? But I'm just saying it again, you know. It's like Kay Nash said when she, you know, the Lord told her, jump the car again. And it was the 21st time. She had to try to jump that car 20 times. And it was like, okay, on the 21st, just throwing that out there. On the 21st, boom, the 21st time. Because 21 is the number of ending of distress, and I'm sure it was pretty distressing, her sitting there trying to get her car jumped, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it was like on the 21st time, because the Lord told her, hey, cast your nets on this side. She was like, well, because it's you, Lord, I'm going to do it. And then boom, the car lit up. Yeah. And I was like, yes, you know, so I'm just saying, like, I really feel more than I've ever felt before. Like, we're really entering into the end of this whole process that we do right now. On the other side, we're still going to be making videos. I think they're going to be more vlog style videos because we're going to be on the move. I don't know how much time we'll have to sit like this and do videos. We might, but I'm just saying it's going to be very different. And I think as you guys watch it, you're going to see, like, wow, it's just so different. Look what the Lord has done. The Lord has done great things for us. He has done great things for us. And there's going to be all kinds of testimonies all over the earth. That's a whole nother video. But there's just going to be some amazing things happening. And I feel like we're just kind of at the end. I believe we're getting ready to see the fulfillment of many prophetic words, many prophetic visions that spoke about the end, and all the different characters and players and props and sets and everything, and the time, all of that, the time frame, all of that coming together. Because there was a time there where I was like, Lord, why do we keep coming to these moments where we think the big thing's going to happen and then you move on to a different story? It's like you keep reading 2/3 of the books, and then you put the book down and you go to another book. It's like, what? This has been going on for years. Yeah. Like, what's going on? I was like, is that going to happen again? I'm ready. Go ahead. Yeah. Let's see it. But no, I really don't want to see it. I just want to see the Lord do what He wants to do. And if whatever that means, I'm on board. If that means pain for me, all right. Yeah. You know, I'm fine with it. I'm not technically fine with it because it means pain. But it's like, I'm not going to let the pain tell me what I should and shouldn't do. Yeah. You know? And so I really feel like we're just kind of at the end of that. And this whole going through this curtain opening process, it's like, oh, this is really awesome. You know?
Yeah. And so it was really cool too, because we finished up with all the pictures, and then coming into this weekend, it was just like yesterday, the Lord ended up giving Devin a prophetic word, and through a friend of ours. And then last night, Devin ended up praying over me and giving this prophetic word. And
hold on, can I say something about that? This is really cool, because this is somebody that we've been developing relationship with, started by the Lord. It was such amazing. I could say so much about it, but like usually, like we'll get on this this app called Marco Polo, and we're just kind of sending videos back and forth. It's kind of really cool, so you don't have to be there to like respond and all that. It's really cool because it's like you can just kind of respond when you want to. And so usually we talk about all kinds of stuff, you know. We just share stuff about our day, what's going on, what we feel the Lord is saying, and all that. It's really, really cool. But she just got on and she was just like, well, this is kind of what's going on today. That's good. But here, I have a word for Devin. And I was just like, boom, here you go. And she's like, yep, that's what I got. Love you guys. Bye. I was like, wow. Like, she literally just got on just to give us this prophetic word. And it blew my mind, because I was like, this is like crazy. It was like she was reading a script of a prophetic word that someone had given me 20 years ago. And I was like, wow. Like, talk about coming full circle. Yeah. It was like, I was just blown away. Yeah. So I just thought that was really significant, because it wasn't necessarily the way we normally might communicate. It was very like prophetic heavy, which she tends to be anyway. Yeah. So.
And so then last night, it just kind of, had done our God time, and then we were in prayer, and then it was just like, suddenly the Lord's just like, hey, here's a word for you. And I mean,
yeah, you know that thing that you wanted to happen at the beginning of the week?
Yeah, it happened literally like end of the week, because this was last night.
I mean, I got hit so heavy by the Spirit. I'm talking like, I really felt like Kent Christmas there for a second. I was getting ready to be like, and the Lord says that He is going to bless you. For, you know, I mean, it was just ready to come out of me like that, you know.
Yeah.
That sounded more like a Southern Baptist preacher, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, it just hit, and it was just like the very thing you wanted. I was like, well, Lord, I got a prophetic word. What about? Come on, let's, you know, just like, and then I just kept focusing on you. It was just like, I really feel like the Lord's got something to say to you, and
He did, and it was just really awesome. And then this morning, Devin, when he got up, and God just ended up giving him
very early in the morning.
Very early, yeah. He ended up getting words for all of our kids, and that's what we ended up going through this morning, of just everything that the Lord was speaking over them and their lives. And so it was just really amazing, because it was almost this picture of the Word and the Spirit. And in Ezekiel, it talks about, you know, this being washed by the water, but anointed with oil as well.
Ezekiel 16:9.
And so it just kind of felt like that this week. There was a sense of God just like, I'm just washing you guys. I am clothing you. And really it was like, this is how I see you. Every picture that we got is like, this is how I see you. This is where what I'm bringing you into. And then on top of it, so it was like, there's the word, there's the washing.
Yeah.
You know, this is who I see you as. But then here I'm going to anoint over you just all these, the Spirit, like the prophetic word, which kind of, it just comes from the Spirit of God. And so it was just kind of this really cool picture of, you know, being washed and oiled, and it happened for all of us, and including our little guy, and so
that was a powerful word.
Yeah. It was just really awesome this week to kind of just go through all of that, and just to have the Lord just bring such encouragement.
So that's what it means for us to line up. We got all of our pre-show reminders last week. All right, cool. All right, now go line up. And as we line up, God's speaking over us everything that our identity, our destiny, our purpose, who we are to Him, who He's created us to be, you know. And then he anoints His own words with a prophetic words of just, oh man, it was just super awesome. And it's just like, whoa, that's amazing. To be continued.
Yes.
Basically, that's how it ended. It was just like, all right.
Okay, that's an awesome place to end, but okay, what's next?
He's like, hey man, I'm a showrunner. I gotta keep you going. I gotta keep you running. Gotta keep you thirsty for next week's episode. You know?
Yeah.
It's like,
Speaking
what?
of thirsty, I thought this was interesting as well.
Oh, what, you want some water?
No.
You want some water?
No, I thought this was interesting because back actually in January, the Lord gave me this vision, or we were talking about the resurrection wine, and God gave me this picture, or I just saw this bottle, like a wine bottle, and it was resurrection was written on it, and I actually drew it.
It's really awesome.
Made it, and it had scriptures that God had given to go with it, and I drew it. And back in January, I was like, oh, like, should I put this on the wall? And I really just was like, no, I don't think so. But I went and I just put it in the drawer, and it's just been sitting there like this whole time. And when I made Devin's picture, I put it on the wall, and I just really felt in my spirit like, hey, go get the bottle the resurrection wine bottle picture and also put it up. And so I was like, okay. So for me, I'm just like, wow, okay, Lord, you have this up for a reason. All of the things that God has us, even decorate our walls with, it's always for a reason. It always has a purpose to it, whether that's to just encourage our own hearts, to continue to have us, continue to believe, continue to just go forth with him. But I just thought that was interesting because it almost felt like, hey, bring this out because we're going to need it. Like, we're going to pop the top and that kind of thing. And so we'll just see with that as well, just what the Lord wants to do there, or just, I think just the fact that he brought it out was super
talking about
important.
Being thirsty. That is what we're thirsty for. We're thirsty for that resurrection life. We're thirsty to come out the tomb. We're thirsty to come out the ark. We're just thirsty for that resurrection to be, because we've been brought out of life into this wilderness where there's just exposure. We talked about that this week. We're just exposed to the sun. When you're out in the wilderness, it's just sun scorching exposure. You have no covering. This is what's happening because you're out there and you're exposed. There's nothing to go hide in. And it's like, that's the way the Lord wants it. He doesn't want you to have a place to hide, And so it's like, okay. And so we're like, Lord, how are you? Like, it's like there's a part of us. It's like we just want to make our journey back to civilization. You know what I mean? And I felt like, the Lord gave me this vision of him just like extending his hand of resurrection. Oh my gosh, I'm getting so many like things right now. I have to like work through this. It's like, Lord, we're doing a video for you. You can't interrupt. That's what I'm trying to work on not doing. You can't do it. Come on, bro. What's the deal? No, I'm just kidding. But it's like he extended his hand to us and we like shot out of the wilderness. I mean, we went, like an arrow out of the wilderness. So it's like, oh no, it's not going to be no, traveling out of the wilderness. You're going to be like, bam, bam, you're going to be gone. And I'm like, whoa, okay. In one day, we'll just be like, we were here, now we're here. You know what I mean? And that's kind of like what the curtain vision is. We're ready now. We don't care what the physical condition or the, it's like we're ready, standing before God of heaven, who is our Father. And it's like when that curtain opens, it's like on the other side is our dream home. The thing that he promised us at the beginning and he said would be at the end. It's like that's the next thing. But it's like, okay, well, but we'll see what the Lord has,
and how that all comes out.
I'm praying that this week is the week of the curtain opening. And then we just things things happen,
But as we know, the Lord always has his timing. And, it's so funny because I feel like every time we're like, ooh, we're ready. The Lord's like, yep, I'm ready to go on to the next thing.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, Lord, we're ready.
Yeah.
But there really does come a time.
I'm like, Lord, you remember that doc vision when we were sitting on the bench waiting for we still there. Yeah. You went on to another story. Yeah. I'm like, okay.
But I just, I know we've said this before, but I'm just reminded of it again. When the Lord is weaving a tapestry together and you have all those strands and stuff, it's like he might be working on certain areas to a certain point. And then it's like, okay, now I'm going to work down here and I'm going to work over here. And
like he's the circle tapestry I saw that one time.
It's like he is bringing it all together. There comes a point where,
comes a point where the dangling strings, that's the only thing left to do is to bring it all together and wrap up that center so you can kind of pull it up through the center. And it's just like, wow.
Yeah. And so, of course, the Lord himself, he is a master story teller, even though it's
you couldn't
like
say a story weaver. That would be
weaver.
nice.
Yeah, story weaver. There you go.
Sounds like a story we need to write at some point. The story weaver.
But in the sense that when we allow him to just lead our lives, he will lead us in the best, he just leads and guides us and takes us to the point where he's like, this is what I've promised you. You know what? It's really cool. I just was thinking about this. I'm like, this is so the Lord, right? So I'm trying to learn how to play chess. And so on the computer, you can literally play the computer, but the way that it's set up is that there's this one where you can play where you're completely assisted.
Kind of like a training wheels playing.
Very much training wheels. But what's so cool, especially if you play like I think it's just the low level one, and you put on there that you want all the assistance, what it does for you is it literally guides you. Mm-hmm. So it shows you like 3 different options of the pieces like that you can move, and those would be like the best ones to move. Mm-hmm. And so it's like, okay, well, you just move it, and then the other side goes, and then it will show you, hey, these are your next 3 best options, and you pick one and you guide it, and so. But what's so cool about it is you always win.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of like the Lord. He leads us and he guides us. And if we just follow his lead, he's like, you're going to win.
Yeah.
Meaning you're going to overcome. You're going to see victory. You're going to see the fullness of what I have in store for your life as you go forward. Yeah. And what's cool too is, well, let's just say you're playing the chess game and you totally pick a random piece and move that piece instead of the ones they suggested. Well, it's like it will recalculate and say, okay, well, this next round, this would be your best option based off of that move. Yeah. And so even the Lord himself, there are times when we take missteps, but he's like, I am orchestrating all things for your good.
Yeah.
And okay, you misstepped there. Yep. Well, here I can recalculate. Here's the best move now.
Well, and that was a number we were getting all week. Mm-hmm. Was 8:28, and I was like, wow, we're getting the 8:28, which reminds me of Romans 8:28. Talks about working all things for the good. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it's just seeing how like God is good, and he is going to. As you follow him, he's going to lead and guide you. Mm-hmm. He's going to teach you as you go. He's going to, even those missteps, he can rework and be like, okay, now let's go this direction in your heart and your life. And it's like, okay, we can go that way. And the outcome is still a win. It's still a victory.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're in line. We're lined up. We're in position. We're ready to see what's next.
And praying that the curtain's open. Yeah. But the Lord can. He will open it when it's time to open it. But I am excited just to see what the Lord has in store.
Yeah, I am too. Because I'm just like, what more needs to be done? I'm just curious. Because it's like we're up here and we're just. All right, if we're prepared, if this is the sign, the prophetic process of the sign that's taking place with us, it's like in the vision there was nothing else to do. Once we all lined up and we were there and we were standing and we were ready, it just opened up. And it just opened up all of a sudden. Mm-hmm. I mean, it just whipped open and it was just like, oh my God, that's amazing. You know what I mean? So
kind of reminds me, like when you're on a roller coaster and like everyone's in, they've checked all the seat belts, but you don't know the exact moment that they're going to press the button.
Especially if it's one of those roller coasters where they press the button and it launches.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not one of those, okay, here we go, up the hill. That takes forever because it's building the suspense. Those ones where they just take off like a Tesla. You know what I'm saying? It's like, those are scary.
Yeah. But
you never know.
You never know because they're just kind of doing the thing and okay, any second now, but it's like you don't actually know the moment that it's just like
you go from calm to crazy in like instant. Yeah. Wow, that's so funny.
Yeah.
So, I was just getting some stuff. I was going to write it down, but I think that's enough right there. You know, so.
But I think that's all that we have for you guys
Yeah,
this
that's
week.
it.
I hope that you guys had a week of encouragement with the Lord.
Back to longer videos this time.
Yes.
Yeah, those short videos are not doing it for us.
Yeah, that's true. That last one was really
It
short.
was super short.
But we just pray that you guys are blessed and that I don't know. We're just excited to see what the Lord has. We're excited to just continue this journey with God and what
I'm
He's
distracting
doing.
you, huh?
Yes, you are.
You're like, what are you writing?
But yeah, I just pray that you guys have a great week.
Yeah.
And until next time, we will see you later.
Yep. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.